Okay, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. If you are watching as a Patreon patron, thank you for your support. If you're watching on YouTube as a subscriber, thank you for your support. If you or anybody in your household has an Amazon Prime account, link it to your Twitch Prime account, and Amazon will gratuitously pay us, and that's just part of the value you get out of Amazon. Easy to do, costs you nothing. Please do it. Instructions are below. We will put your name on the scrolling ticker below that calls you out, shouts you out for supporting us. So thank you for all that. Question today from Sifted from Hey Marcio. How big is the indie game market compared to the AAA market? Is there an easy way to invest in indie studios, developers, and potentially turn a profit versus just donating via crowdfunding sites? You know, indie is an odd term. You know, it means just that they're not owned by anybody. You know, that they're independent and no big publisher owns them. Insomniac was an indie studio and they put out really big games. You know, Respawn was an independent studio that happened to make AAA games like Titanfall. Bethesda was an independent studio. You know, so I know you mean smaller game studios, but truthfully, anybody who's not owned by a big publisher is indie. There will always be independent studios. Epic technically is an indie. They're just giant. It's not big, but it could be big. You know, there are games like Fall Guys, Rocket League that kind of come out of nowhere. You know, Minecraft even, that come out of nowhere from indie studios and become these big phenomena. But the way to invest is to invest with venture capital firms that invest in them. So, you know, Griffin Gaming, March Capital, Bitcraft, I know there's like a dozen more. London Venture Partners, those guys all do it. And again, I don't think they take small investors. So you really are going to be shut out. So there's not really a way to do it. You could invest in your cousin's indie studio, but odds of you're investing enough for him to succeed are low. But those guys they're professionals and they invest in you know, bigger studios with 100 developers, and they tend to actually do really well. The place where you could actually make money in indie is mobile. And, you know, it's a different experience for the gamer, but it's a giant market. And, you know, how big is indie compared to AAA? Well, the AAA console market is maybe $20 billion, all in everything. The mobile gaming market is way over 100. So by definition, probably 50% of revenue come from guys who have one game, you know, so they're indies, and probably even more. So there are, you know, I think Unity threw out a figure that they have 40,000 games a year made on the Unity platform, and how many console games are made? 200. You know, so the difference is there are literally 40,000 games made mobile every year on Unity, and I mean they have the lion's share. That's how many indie developers there are out there. So can you make money? Well, guess what? They don't all make money. That was the famous Iwata presentation at GDC. You know, 40,000 of you are going to make games, only 100 are going to make money. Back in 2011 or whenever he said that, that was probably pretty close to right. Right now, if you have a top 500 game, you're making money. You know, and so it's kind of shocking how much money there is to make. I mean, the top 100 games maybe capture 30, 40, 50% of mobile, but the next 900 capture the other 50%. That's 50 billion left for the next 900 games. That's still plenty of money for people to make. So it's really easy as an indie developer to make a mobile game and make some money. And I'm not talking about make hundreds of millions, but break even, pay all your people 60, 70,000, 100,000 a year, because it only takes like a dozen guys to make a mobile game. I'll give you a good example of somebody really smart. This company in Turkey called Rollic, ROLLIC. They formed their studio in summer of 19, and in I think it was 18 months, they made 32 games. And their most famous is High Heels. But look up their games. They're all hyper casual. And there's no spending. They're all just fun games, and they're ad supported. And in 18 months, they went from zero revenue to 100 million of advertising revenue a year for 32 people. Right? Right. And they sold their company to Zynga for $250 million. So they all made plenty of money. That's genius. And by the way, it's just a start. Everybody's going to do that. So I know you all played hyper casual games before. Just played those Sudoku games. I mean, there's plenty of games like that. And there's no way to spend money in Sudoku, but you watch an ad to play the game. So I think that's the fastest way for a developer to actually make money. There are developers on the Skills platform. There are developers on the Roblox platform who make money because people play their games and they get a share of what the Skills and Roblox collect. Plenty of ways to make money. But to answer your question, indie console is a small fraction of the 20 billion console market. It's probably 1 or 2 billion. Indie mobile is a much larger fraction of that 100 billion of mobile sales, but much larger 20. So so I'd say that indie console is probably 10% of console sales. Indie mobile is probably 20% of mobile sales, but that's a lot of games. I mean, that's the bottom 400. I'm not the bottom. The numbers 101 to 500 are more indie games in there, and top 100 tend to be much bigger publishers. Thanks for joining us on Pachter Factor today. If you are a Patreon patron or a YouTube subscriber, thank you for your funds, for your support. That's keeping Shane in macaroni and cheese. He'd like to step it up and have an occasional protein with his macaroni and cheese. So if you can step up your contribution, he can maybe put some chicken in there occasionally. If you are an Amazon Prime member and you are able to follow the instructions in the show description below, you can link your Twitch Prime account to your Amazon Prime account, and Amazon miraculously will pay us. So please remember to do that and to resubscribe. We've got a scrolling ticker at the bottom of all the people who have managed to figure that one out. So look for your name down there, and thank you for doing that. If you're watching on YouTube a week late, I understand you either can't afford to do this or you hate me. You don't want Shane to ever be able to eat again. But you must follow me on Twitter, or I'm going to block you on YouTube and you won't be able to see me. At Michael Pachter, and tell me that the reason that you're on Twitter following me is because I shamed you into it. I'll give you a shout out. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.